Hey guys, I'm Daisho and I'm here bringing you some magic, and today I'm going to give you a Gatecrash draft. This is going to be my first Gatecrash draft, and this is about a week after the set was released, or pre-released, a couple of days after the release, so just take that into account if you're watching this in a few months from now. This was recorded on February 4th, and I may have made some stupid mistakes, so there's definitely some things that even already I've recognized that I'm like, wow, why would I take that card? So anyway, the first pack is pretty straightforward. I recognize a couple of the good cards such as Wojak Halberdiers and Mugging, but my rare is Clan Defiance, and that card is just incredible, so I decided to take it. I mean, it has some sort of applications that are kind of specific, like if they have a flyer, a creature, a ground creature, and obviously that you can hit their face always, and it's great. But sometimes you can just hit them and kill them in the face by hitting them for 8 or something like that, and sometimes you can just hit them and kill a creature, and that's just going to be the most often scenario, and it's just going to be an excellent card. But anyway, this next pack I wanted to stay in color, so I think Grizzly Spectacle is probably the better card than Mugging, but Mugging is still very good. I mean, just 1 mana, 2 damage, sorcery speed, it works. It doesn't hit players, which is unfortunate, but yeah. Anyway, another card that I was looking at was Syndic of Ties. I like that card, but I want to stick to green-red if I can. Obviously, there are things that would put me in other colors, and I'd be happy to move out, but if I can get a card that's as strong as Mugging as my second pick, then I'm going to try and stay in my rare if I open something as good as Clan Defiance. So anyway, in this pack there isn't too much in green or red that's very good, but what I do find is a Gruul Guildgate, so that's one thing that I can take. And I think that's a Skin Brand Goblin, which I previously thought to be not very good, but somebody had mentioned that it was actually a pretty good card. I have yet to play with it, so I don't really know. But anyway, I'm going to grab an Assault Griffin here. I figure I could play red-white and then maybe splash the green if I need to, or even just play red-green, splash white for the Griffin. I don't really know. I love Assault Griffin. It's a 3/2 flyer for 4. I mean, that thing just beats down really quickly, and it's not even too shabby as a blocker. I mean, it can trade up pretty easily since it's got 3 power, so if you need it to, it could get in the way of something. Anyway, for my 4th pick, I could have taken an Herbalist Protector, which I kind of like. It's a 6/6, or it's a 6 mana, 4 white, which is really the reason why I didn't take it, is because it costs double white, and I wasn't even sure if I was playing white yet. So it costs 4 white, and it ends up giving you a 1/1 and a 4/4 flyer token. So I figured that instead of taking something like that, I'd rather take a Prophetic Prism, because I know after taking my Clan Defiance and then the Assault Griffin and a Mugging that I'm probably going to be some sort of 3-colored thing if I don't want to just abandon the Assault Griffin entirely. But anyway, I take a Ground Assault here, and I think a 5th pick Ground Assault is a pretty good signal that green-red is somewhat open. Since it's both green and red, it means that it could mean that somebody next to me is Boros and somebody else next to me is Simic, but nobody really is playing Gruul, or it could just mean that there was a better Gruul card and that they took that instead. So I think that signals have a lot more to do with clumping than they do to have with cards, and just like your own card choice, than they have to do with like trying to figure out what guild your neighbors are in. But anyway, I'm going to take a Croconura there. It was over that 2/3 battalion guy that gets +2/+0. Really not sure which one's better, but anyway, let's move on. So this pack, there's an Immortal Servitude, and I was thinking of taking that just because I thought it might be $1 or $2, but I don't really think it is. Anyway, Basilica Guards is a pretty decent card, and if I'm playing white, then I'm definitely going to be wanting to run it. I'm looking like I'm a little bit slower of a white deck that's going to win with flyers, and I don't really need, or like something like that card is just perfect for this kind of situation. Just a 1/4 extort, slowly gain me back some life, block all the things on the ground. It'll just work out. So anyway, Nav Squad Commandos was the first thing that caught my eye as a 3/5 for 5, but I already had a couple of later drops, and getting a 2/2 with the ability to gain first strike, I know I'm playing green and red, is pretty sweet at this point. Anyway, this pack is a little bit interesting. It's got the Court Street Denizen, which I'm not looking to play because I'm not really looking to have so many white creatures. I mean, I'm probably going to have a couple. It's got a Gruul Charm, which is okay, not great. I mean, it's more of a sideboard card than anything, so that's not so good. And then there's this Tiger, this Zarichi Tiger, which again is okay. It's a 2/3, and it can gain you some life, so if I was trying to play the long game, then I would kind of want a Tiger or two. And then there's Wildwood Rebirth, which I think is actually a pretty decent card with all the mill going around. People are going to be trying to mill you, and then you can just go randomly find something that they milled, not even something that was killed, and then you can just get it back. So that's pretty sweet. Plus, it works really well with Blood Rush. You discard a creature card, and then you go get it back with Wildwood Rebirth, so you can Blood Rush it again or something like that. So you don't even have to waste the mana casting the spell and then getting it all back. So it ends up working out pretty well. But I end up just taking the Boros Key Rune just to make my mana a little bit easier. And if I get some Blood Rush, it'll be really sweet, since Blood Rushing a double striker seems really nice. Anyway, I think there's a Night Watch in this pack, but I'm just going to take the Tiger. I'm not really sure how good Night Watch is. I think it's a lot better if you have a ton of Battalion, which I'm not really shaping up to be a Battalion deck. But yeah, it still might be good anyway. I'm not really sure. I think it's just a format dependent thing that I'm going to need to see. Anyway, I take a Gruul Guildgate there. That was pretty awesome that made it all the way back to me. I was really excited when I saw that, because that tells me that Gruul is pretty good. Or, I mean, it doesn't really tell me that Gruul's open, because somebody could have just wanted to somebody could have taken a neighboring Guildgate, like if they were in Simic, they could have taken Gruul to splash red. But, I mean, it definitely is a nice sign if a Guildgate in my colors is just coming this late. But it's more convenient, I think. Anyway, Verdant Haven and Greenside Watcher in this pack. I decided to go for the thing that's also a bear, and then the person to my right gives me a last pick Razor Tip Whip. Never really a good card, and never really something that you're looking to play. I don't think. I mean, I'm sure that somebody's going to be like, nah, dude, there's a Razor Tip Whip deck out there. It's awesome. So in order for you guys to understand what I was doing in this pack, I ended up taking the Death Pact Angel, which I opened, because I thought it was like $15. Turns out it's like $4 or something like that. I remember that the pre-release price when it was first spoiled was like $15. I'm like, wow, this card's so expensive. Like, why is that? But I don't know. Anyway, I could have taken a Burning Tree Emissary or an Assault Griffin from that pack, and either of those two would have been pretty sweet. But anyway, I see this Loyal Legionist and a Croconura in this pack. I'm really not sure which one's better. Croconura just seems really sweet as a 1/3 Reach Evolve. I mean, the fact that it just turns into a giant spider for 3 mana super quickly is really, really relevant. Plus, it can evolve your other guys because it's got 3 toughness, which is definitely a decent amount, so that's nice. And then Legion Loyalist has this crazy Battalion ability, and it's a 1/1 for 1, and it's just so weird. Not really something that I'm usually looking to cast, but I wanted to give it a try. You need to play with these rares if you want to see if they're actually good. But anyway, I see a Scab Clan Charger, and that was the thing that first caught my eye. There's a Prophetic Prism in this pack, but there's another Legion Loyalist and a Boros Elite. So I'm thinking, well, I can't really take the Boros Elite, because if I'm taking a Battalion card, I may as well take the rare. So that's what I ended up going with. I think in the future I would take Boros Elite over that in a heartbeat. The Elite just is not very good. Anyway, there's a whole bunch of good cards in this pack. I didn't even take note of the Skinbrand Goblin until just now. But there's a Pit Fight, there's an Assault Griffin, there's a Guardian of the Gateless, there's a Boros Guildgate, and maybe even another card that I hadn't seen. But I think Guardian of the Gateless is just a little bit stronger than any of those cards. Maybe Pit Fight is the best card in that pack, but not for me, I don't think. Pit Fight isn't so great in my deck. I don't have that many high toughness creatures. I have some, but anyway. I just think it's a lot better in Gruul or straight Gruul than Naya, or it's very good in Simic, not quite as good in Boros. But anyway, Crown Ceratok is going to be the pick here. I could have taken a Sky Knight Legionnaire, which might have been the choice, but I just wanted, especially since I already had a couple of Assault Griffins on the 4-drop spot, so maybe I should have tried to fill out my curve a little bit. Not sure how much better Crown Ceratok is in a non-evolved deck, just as a 4/3 Trampler. Probably a decent enough margin that it was worth taking it, but not too much in this pack, so I'm happy to take the Guildgate. And then, again, I don't think that there's anything too exciting in this pack. I could take a Court Street Denizen, but again, I don't have too many white creatures, so that's not great. So I'm just going to take this Aerial Maneuver, +1/+1, flying in first strike, I believe, is just okay. I mean, it's a decent combat trick, not really. I mean, if I'm in red-white, then I want to be playing Martial Glory. I don't know how many good combat tricks there are in this set. I know green-white in Return to Ravnica had a ton of awesome combat tricks, and you basically were never able to attack. But I think most of the combat tricks just became Blood Rush creatures, and then people were like, well, why would you cast a Giant Growth if you can just cast a Slaughterhorn at the same commonality as both of them being common? But anyway, not such a big deal. I start getting some really good cards. So there's a Millennium Gargoyle here, which I think is an okay card. I'm really not sure. Haven't played with it, but I feel like just the fact that it costs 4 colorless might be sweet in some like 5-color decks that just want to be playing something that they're sure they can cast. But anyway, I get a Disciple, and then here I pick up another Assault Griffin. Oh yeah, this is the pack that I opened. So the Burning Tree Emissary and the Assault Griffin, the 2 cards that I was eyeing from the beginning, both came back. So that's a good sign for me. I'm really not sure which one's better. I think Burning Tree Emissary is probably a little bit cuter, but Assault Griffin is just like a tried and true card. I mean, the card is obviously going to be good in any limited setting. It's a 4 cost 3 power flyers are just obviously going to be good. I mean, there might be a set where there's a billion 2/4 reaches, and I mean, like the Ceratok is the not the Croconura is a 1/3 and easily will be able to get to a 2/4, so it can block it. But it's not like every single card in the set can block it. So I think Assault Griffin is just really good, and people weren't evaluating it too highly because it kind of just seems like a vanilla card. I mean, it is pretty vanilla, but I mean, a 3/2 flyer is just going to beat down and get in there. So I mean, I'm happy to snap up as many Assault Griffins as I'm going to get. Anyway, I'm going to get an Adaptive Snap Draw here. Not sure how good that card is. I've never actually cast it. I guess this is sort of a spoiler, but I don't end up playing it. Anyway, Totally Lost is just a hate pick. I mean, that card's good, and it was near the end. And then here, I mean, I see the Thrall in the pack and an Assault Griffin. That's really good. I mean, the 1/1 Regenerator for 1 I normally wouldn't rate too highly, but I think in this format it's really good. And then my second to last pick is another Disciple, so I think that's my third one. And that's actually just pretty sweet that I'm getting all these cards that I can cast and play in my deck, and I'm like, I mean, Disciple into Assault Griffin as 2 of my last 3, or Assault Griffin into Disciple as 2 of my last 3 picks is pretty sweet, because those are 2 cards that end up both making my main deck. And obviously you can see that I value some cards more highly than other people, because I end up taking both those 2 over other things, and they just came really late, and I had 3 Disciples and 3 Assault Griffins, so I don't know if it's just where they were placed in packs or what, but anyway, there's a Hellkite Tyrant and an Experiment 1 here. I'm not 100% sure that Hellkite Tyrant is a better card than Experiment 1. That might sound ridiculous to you because, I mean, Hellkite Tyrant is a 6/5 flying trample. I mean, obviously the rest of its abilities aren't too relevant for limited, but it's a 6/5 flying trample, so that's pretty freaking awesome. But, I mean, Experiment 1, just if you curve out with that, then that thing's just going to get huge really quickly, so that's pretty good. There's also Cloudfin Raptor in that pack, obviously not for me. Anyway, 5 on Fire here. Never played with it, wanted to play with it, so I'm going to take it. Not sure how good it is, still not sure how good it is, even after playing all the matches, but I think I probably would not have gone for it in this situation. I don't remember. There was another good card in this pack that I could have taken, but decided not to go for it and just gamble with the fire. So there's an Angelic Edict here, which definitely could have been a pretty nice pick, but I think I'm just going to take the Sunhome Guildmage. When I was watching people talk about it and discuss it, they were all saying, yeah, this is a good Guildmage. He's no Selesnya Guildmage, but he's still pretty good. I think this is better than the Vitu-Ghazi Guildmage from Return to Ravnica. If not better, then just equally as good, because it helps activate Battalion. The 1/1s will eventually just overrun your opponents, and its abilities don't just make creatures, they also make your other creatures better. So just everything about that card, the Sunhome Guildmage, is just amazing. And I think that it's one of the stronger guild mages they've printed, and probably the best one in this set, maybe better than Vitu-Ghazi. But that's just my opinion, obviously. Could be wrong, especially having played with that card only a little bit. I guess I'm making some pretty crazy, outrageous remarks. I don't know. Anyway, there's a Scamclad Charger and an Ivy-Lane Denizen. I was just counting how many green creatures I had to see if I could actually play this Denizen. I know I have a bunch of 4-drops already, so I'm just going to take the Charger. Sounds pretty stupid when you say it like that, but the Charger is really just a Blood Rush creature. I'm not really going to play 2/4 for 4. I'd almost always rather just Blood Rush it, but there's just a Ground Assault in this pack, so I'm just going to snap that right up. I don't know how these Ground Assaults are going so late, but I am not complaining about them. I think that the other person who was in Gruul was all the way at the other side of the table, so that really helped. And as well, he was taking like muggings and stuff, so he was taking other removal over these Ground Assaults. So the fact that they were clumped in the packs together is really good. I'm just going to take a Fish Crab here, Shamble Shark, nothing in the pack for me, so whatever. Anyway, Cartel Aristocrat's seems like a pretty good card. My opponent played it in one of the matches, and it's kind of annoying, but there's nothing great for me here. I'm going to end up taking the Debtor's Pulpit. I'm not sure how good of a card that is. I mean, if it was just a 1/1 for 1, like a Gideon's Lawkeeper, and it just had tap target creature, or it's basically, since it's attached to a land, it's 1 mana tap target creature. So I'm not really sure how good it is or how bad it is or what. But anyway, I don't know what card that's called, but that's the one that gives creatures +1, +2/+2. Not sure how good it is. Figured I'd take an Ivy Lane Denizen. I didn't want to really be playing 1 white, especially since I'm already playing 5 Alarm Fire, which is 1 red, so that's not great. But I'm going to get a Martial Glory here, which is nice. I wasn't expecting this card to come all the way this late, and the fact that I was able to get one in this deck is pretty sweet. And here's a Fortress Cyclops. Again, an awesome card, and I mean, it's just, I compare it to Spawn of Rixmani, and then it's a 6/3 when it attacks, except instead of not being able to block, it blocks super well as a 3/6. So I think that is just an extreme upside, which is pretty sweet. So there's not too much in this pack. There's that Beckon Apparition, I think that's the name of the card, and I'll just grab a Riot Gear. I didn't think I was going to end up playing it, and I didn't, so that's fine. And then just next pick is another one. So it's just an average card. I think that if you're really struggling for playables, you can do it. But anyway, my opponent gives me a Razor Tip Whip as my last card. But here's how the deck turns out. I decided to play both Loyal Legion Loyalists. Not sure if that was the right call. Actually, I'm pretty sure it was not the right call. But anyway, got 3 Disciples and a Guild Mage in addition to the Ground Assaults and the Prophetic Prism and the Martial Glory. And then obviously you can see these 3 Assault Griffins, Ceratok, and Scapland Charger, Cyclops, Guardian of the Gateless, and the Hellkite Tyrant to top it off. And this is my mana base. So hope you guys enjoyed, and stay tuned for the games. Have a wonderful day, guys.